The United States government is currently spending $2 trillion more than it collects every single year. Not 2 billion, 2 trillion. And yet most people heard that sentence and felt absolutely nothing. No panic, no urgency, maybe a little vague discomfort, and then they moved on. That reaction is not ignorance. It is not stupidity. It is one of the most well-documented psychological phenomena in behavioral science, and it is exactly why the debt bomb is so dangerous. Not because economists do not understand it, but because the human brain is literally wired to ignore it. Today we are going to talk about why your mind cannot properly process what is happening to the US economy right now, and more importantly, what that means for your money, your savings, and your financial future. Because the debt is not just a government problem, it is coming for you, and your brain is going to make sure you do not see it coming. The first psychological force at play is called scope insensitivity. In 1994, psychologists Paul Slovic and Daniel Kahneman ran experiments that revealed something deeply unsettling about how humans process large numbers. They asked people how much they would donate to save 2,000 birds trapped in oil ponds. The average answer was $80. Then they asked a different group how much they would donate to save 200,000 birds. The average answer was $88. 200,000 birds versus 2,000 birds, and the emotional response barely changed. The brain does not scale. It cannot feel the difference between 1 billion and 1 trillion. So when you hear that the US national debt has crossed $36 trillion, your brain registers something like, that is a lot, and moves on. Because a number your brain cannot feel is a number your brain will not act on. The second force is called temporal discounting. Researchers at Princeton showed that the human brain uses different neural systems when thinking about the present versus the future. When you think about something happening right now, your rent due today, the emotional, urgent part of your brain activates. You feel it, you act. When you think about something happening in 10 years, a debt crisis, the logical, abstract part of your brain takes over. You acknowledge it, and then you do nothing. This is why people know they should save for retirement, but do not. The future self feels like a stranger, and you will not sacrifice for a stranger. Right now, the US government spends more on interest payments on its debt than it spends on the entire defense budget. But life feels mostly normal, and so your brain files it under future problems. That is temporal discounting, doing exactly what evolution designed it to do, keep you focused on today. It will keep you completely unprepared for tomorrow. The third force is called normalcy bias. It is the brain's tendency to assume that because something has never happened before in your lifetime, it cannot happen. The US dollar has been the world reserve currency since 1944. Your parents lived under it. Their parents lived under it. Your entire financial worldview was built inside a system where American debt was considered the safest investment on earth. But here is what is changing right now. Foreign countries are buying less US debt than they used to. China has been selling treasury bonds for 3 years straight. The demand for US debt is shrinking, but the supply keeps growing. When supply goes up and demand goes down, prices drop. When bond prices drop, interest rates go up. And when interest rates go up, everything you borrow, your mortgage, your car loan, your credit card, gets more expensive. Your brain, running on normalcy bias, keeps whispering, "It has always been fine. It will be fine again." That whisper is one of the most expensive thoughts a person can have right now. Here is the part no finance channel will tell you. The way governments have historically resolved this kind of debt transfers the cost silently from the government to ordinary people. It is called inflation. When a government owes more than it can pay, it prints money. More money chasing the same goods means prices rise, and rising prices are a hidden tax, a tax no politician votes for, a tax nobody announces, a tax that quietly reduces the value of every dollar you have saved. In the 1970s, inflation hit 13%. The average working person watched their savings lose nearly half their purchasing power in a decade. Not because they made bad decisions, because they held dollars while the government quietly inflated away its obligations. And the psychology that makes this so effective, inflation feels like rising prices. Your brain blames the grocery store, it blames corporations. It almost never blames the monetary policy that created the conditions in the first place. So what do you actually do? The answer is not panic. The brain that cannot feel $1 trillion is the same brain that overreacts to short-term market crashes and makes the wrong decisions at the wrong time. The answer is awareness of your own psychological blind spots. Stop treating large numbers as background noise. $36 trillion is a slow-moving pressure on your cost of living and the purchasing power of every dollar you earn. Stop thinking in nominal terms. A savings account earning 4% sounds good, but if inflation is running at 6%, you are losing 2% of your real purchasing power every year, getting poorer while the number in your account goes up. And understand that assets, not cash, are what historically protect people through inflationary debt resolutions. Real estate, equities, commodities, things with intrinsic value independent of what any government decides a dollar is worth. The people who came out of the 1970s with their wealth intact were not smarter, they just understood the psychology of how governments resolve debt. Scope insensitivity makes the numbers feel meaningless. Temporal discounting makes the problem feel distant. Normalcy bias makes collapse feel impossible. Three psychological forces all working together, all pointing toward comfortable inaction. The question is whether you are going to let your brain make this decision for you, or whether you are going to make it yourself. If this video changed the way you see what is happening in the economy, subscribe. Every week, we go deeper into the psychology behind money, not just what is happening, but why your brain is designed to respond to it the way it does. See you next week.